Operations with polynomials. First, let's figure out what polynomials are. Polynomials is under a really big, has a lot of things underneath its umbrella. We have monomials, which is one term, binomials, two terms, and trinomials, three terms. Anything that's usually four or more, we consider it to be a polynomial. But remember, all three of these are under the family name of polynomials. The basic format of any polynomial starts off with a sign that's either positive or negative, then the coefficient, which is the number part. This can be a whole number or a fraction. And then you have variables, and they're always listed in ABC order, okay? There are two major rules that you need to abide by when you're adding and subtracting with polynomials. Number one, combine like terms only. That means you must have the same variables and the exponents. An example right here is x squared plus 2x squared. I highlighted x squared for the first one and x squared for the second one. That means it's okay to add these two together or subtract if the case may be. But my non-example, I cannot add x squared with an x cubed. That's a no-no. They must have the same letters and the same exponents. Guideline number two. Exponents on variables do not change when you add or subtract. Here's an example. I have 5x squared minus 2x squared. Okay, so 5 take away 2 is 3, and my variable is still x squared. But look at my non-example. 4x to the third power plus 1x to the third power. Well, 4 plus 1 is 5. But look what happened. This is a mistake some students make. They add the exponents too. That's a big no-no. Again, think of it like in the real world. If you have 2 apples plus 3 apples, you get 5 apples. I never change the unit that I'm dealing with. It's still apples plus apples equals apples, not something different. So keep that in mind when you're working with polynomials. Multiplying and factoring. There's two main things that you need to remember with multiplying and factoring with polynomials. One of the big things is knowing the properties of exponents. And there's two main properties that I always work with myself. One of the properties is when you multiply. When you multiply with the same base, that means the same letters, okay? What's going to happen is you actually add your exponents. So I'm trying to multiply x squared times x to the third power. I keep my letter, but I'm going to add my exponents and get x equals 5. So if it has the same letter and you're multiplying them, add the exponents. If you're dividing with if you're dividing and they have the same letter, it's the opposite. You're actually going to subtract. Okay? So if you're multiplying with the same variables, add the exponents. If you're dividing with the same variables, subtract the exponents. Last rule, and we mentioned this before in the notes, list your variables in ABC order. Okay, that may mean that you may have to sing the ABC song right quick just to get what letters go before each one. And so I'm using the last ones in the alphabet. So let's see. T-U-V, so that means V goes first. W, how many W's do we have? W squared, and one W right here, so that's 3. T-U-V-W, X, Y. We don't have an X, but we do have one Y. And then Z finishes out on the end.